help. We need activists and volunteers. There's a lot of work to do, a lot of interesting projects, but we lack of people. So please spare some hours of your time and join us. We have an informational desk at level B under the big Schäuble is watching you banner next to the FFII desk. Please come to our desk and talk to us. We have a lot of things to do, and we are very appreciated to hear about your ideas for campaigning. You can also ring us up through our DECT. It is 2584. That is the DECT of our desk. We are there for your requests. Thank you very much.
So data retention in 2009 might not be any slide at all then, if you...
Yeah, you can cross it.
Yeah. So I would suspect that... talking about impact assessments, I think the Commission should have assessed the legality of the proposal before they pushed it through the Parliament. Okay. So next part of this presentation is about PNR, personal name records. It's just 1 month old, this proposal from the Commission to use passenger name records for law enforcement purposes. This is a proposal that its implications are, or possible implications are, so extreme. It's hard to know where to start. Maybe I'll just start. So, since this is a CCC Congress, I guess most of you are technical people. So, just like with the Data Retention Directive, you had a political ambition to create this for law enforcement purposes to save telecommunications data. And then the proposal contains a lot of language on what you should save and who should save things. But the technical reality is not as simple or doesn't really fit with the legal text. And I guess that is why they are still talking about what to do with different things like webmail and IP telephony. I think it's the same situation with the PNR proposal, that the understanding or the unwillingness to really understand what the PNRs are used for and how they are made or constructed or the purpose for which they were made, that understanding is limited, which means that the proposal lacks some basic checks with reality. So I'm just trying to list here, when you make a reservation to travel by plane from Berlin to Stockholm, for example, when you make the reservation, a PNR record is created. It's actually not created in... it depends on where you go, if you go to a travel agency or to an airline, or if you do it on the internet. But the PNR is created, and most of the times, in CRS, in a computerized reservation system. So these computerized reservation systems, they run on IBM mainframes. It's a very old and efficient, complex, and big global network. It's kind of a parallel to the internet. There are 4 major CRSs, that is Sabre, Amadeus, Galileo, and WorldSpan. It's only Amadeus that is European in the sense that it's located in Spain, I think, with a database in Erdingen in Germany. But they also run these IBM IBM mainframes with that kind of old but still efficient technology. So the PNR contains everything, like, of course, your name and address and telephone numbers and your credit card information. But a lot of the information is also, this PNR record is also can be, information can be added by intermediaries, car rentals, travel agencies, tour operators. Like if you go, I want to go to Vienna for the Christmas concert, then I want to have a hotel and I want to have a car and maybe even I can go to the restaurant. And this can be arranged and booked by your travel agency, and most of this information might end up in your PNR. So the PNR record is a data set that's really flexible and versatile, and there are a lot of free text fields, and it's not really just a form with name and address and passport number. So a PNR record can't be deleted either. So this is one of the things that kind of shows that the system was made, it's maybe a 30 or 40 years old system that was never designed for either privacy in mind or retention in mind. And well, up until the mid-19th, the CRS network was probably larger than the internet, and I saw somewhere on Wikipedia that at some point in time the mainframe capacity for these systems were the largest computing or the greatest computing power, civil computing power in the world. So we are talking about an old mainframe system. So when you make a booking from Berlin to Stockholm, then your PNR, if you fly with, for example, SAS, Swedish Airlines, Scandinavian Airlines they're not using Sabre, but some other company like well, I can't come up with a name right now. Anyway, the PNR is then created in the CRS. If it's this air company or travel agency uses Sabre, it is created in the database in the United States immediately. And that means that the travel agency or the airline has transferred personal data to a country with no data protection legislation in place. And what the Sabre does with this information, it's impossible to know. They can store it forever if they like, and they probably do. Anyway, in this PNR proposal from Frattini, there is supposed to be set up in each member state a passenger information unit, and state agency that will have as its purpose and task to collect all the travel bookings that the airlines and travel agencies make in the country. So they will basically, to be able to do that, they will probably do like DHS does, the Department of Homeland Security. They will probably have root access to each of the airlines partitioned in the CRS. And this is one of the main reasons for conflict or argument when it comes to the PNR agreement between the European Union and the United States recently, that we don't know where our data goes, and still European companies are supposed to follow European privacy legislation. And not even the airlines in Europe can know what happens with the PNR record, because the system is so complex, and it also a PNR record created by one airline can be copied over to another that uses one CRS, can be copied over to another CRS system. So you will probably end up with having a copy of your travel in a US-based CRS anyway. So I've been working a bit with Edward Hasbrook on this project on PNR, and he has asked for his personal name records from the Department of Homeland Security in the United States, and the records he gets from the US contains information about flights between European cities that are not connected at all to the reservation that is related to the trip in from the United States. So we have in reality the CRSs and the PNRs are handled by the CRSs that in a way we don't really know, and on the other hand we have this political initiative to make a PNR system for Europe where passenger information units will have access to all travel data. And they are then supposed to store this data for 13 years. Of course, in the proposal, there's particularly to make everybody happy and calm people down. It's mentioned that race and things like religion and trade union membership is, of course, not to be saved. Shouldn't be kept. So there's a list of 19 items that should be saved by this passenger information unit. And item 12 says that the field that is called general remarks should be saved, but it should, of course, exclude sensitive information like trade union membership. And also all historical changes to the PNR listed in numbers 1 to 18. That means that the change log to the PNR should also be saved. This means that if anybody has entered sensitive information in the change log, it will be in the change log, and it's not technically possible to say that you can actually be sure that, for example, trade union membership is not in your PNR record. So. All in all, just before Christmas, the European Data Protection Supervisor, Peter Hastings, came with an opinion about the PNR proposal, and it's 112 points or something, and it's the critique is huge. It contains so many errors, so I just choose one of them, connecting back to the impact assessment argument, that if you build upon different databases without a global view on the concrete results and shortcomings, that is contrary to rational legislative policy, in which new instruments must not be adopted before those existing have been fully implemented and proved to be insufficient. This is a part of what I would say the preparation of legislative proposal. He says it hasn't been done properly. And it might otherwise lead to a move towards a total surveillance society. So this is the data protection supervisor, European data protection supervisor, really criticizing a proposal from the Commission. So what can we do with the proposal on the political level? The European Parliament will have an opinion on this proposal, and the rapporteurs, or the responsible rapporteur, will be Sophie in 't Veld from the Liberal Group. ALDE, she is from the Netherlands. And the LIBE is the Civil Liberties Committee. In the Foreign Affairs Committee, which is a shadow committee. They will have an opinion on this proposal, and